journey. Yadi deham prathak kratya. You see the metaphor. If we separate, if we separate body, yadi deham prathak kratya. If we separate the body and allow the mind to rest within, we can be happy and in peace here and now. So the Ashtavakra, the great master, says that, look at the metaphor. Yadi deham prathakratya, if I separate my body, what is that separation? It is not a physical separation. It is an understanding and the knowledge that I am the body causes suffering. I am not the body brings the freedom. So that knowledge is nothing but an awareness and experience. It is an experience that I am not the body. Then what happens, because the body is the servant of the mind? So the mind cannot act without the body. So when the mind cannot act without the body, and when the same mind says I am not the body, the mind changes its direction from outside to inside. Where, when, here and now. Here and now. So once the mind changes the direction, the state of the mind also changes. What is the state of the mind? The state of the mind, when it claims I am the body, the moment it claims I am the body, this mind can trigger any desire at any time, even when you are listening to me. Then mind starts wandering, it gets obsessed, it is craving for something outside. So it's a little higher metaphor. So that is what our masters gives another metaphor explaining the creation is that of a spider. Spider which spins out the silken thread from its body and creates a web. So after creating a web, it goes and sits at the heart, much like the real self. So there is another way to understand. We have to contemplate that consciousness creates and enters into what it creates. Huh? Our parents create us, but they cannot enter into us. So the creation, what we create is totally different from the way the consciousness creates. That is why that creation is known as manifestation. So we normally use the word it manifestation. So it means the consciousness manifest as Girish, as Brandy, as Sam, as Stephen, as Vaibhav. Like the waves manifest. So here this metaphor, the waves manifest, the mind becomes very clear That wave is nothing but the water. That wave is only a manifestation. Same way, similarly, yes, body, mind, breath, all are manifestation of the real self. Nothing happens to the water when the wave manifest in different shapes and sizes. Same thing, nothing happens to me when I realize I am the real self. That is the goal of the Eastern wisdom. That is the goal of the mindfulness or meditation. So, what happens when I recognize? I recognize that I am the real self, and the real self is pure consciousness, and that consciousness is not the part, property, and product of anything. And that real self is of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. So, the mind realizes what we really are. That is the entire journey, not only of mindfulness and meditation, but also of awakening and realization. One thing more I want to add, that once we realize that I am the real self, it is an irreversible process. I have heard you millions of times, but nothing is happening. So ask yourself why it is not happening. You keep on repeating the same thing again and again, but it does not go into my head. So ask yourself why it is not going to my head. What is preventing me? What is preventing me? So the mind is still identifying with the body, with the mind, with the emotions, with the feeling, with the craving, with the desire. It knows fully and clearly that there is no object in the world that is of the nature of peace and happiness, including our honey, our relations, our money. But still, the mind identifies. That identification is extremely strong, and that causes the ignorance. Ignorance is nothing but the wrong notion. And because of the wrong notion, the mind keeps on jumping. You see the entire chain. So it demands only an understanding. No practice can result into that state. What it means? As long as I'm not a seeker, I have to do all the practices. Once I become a seeker, then I have to focus on knowledge and understanding. The way we separate the silken thread and the home of a spider, the way we separate the waves from the water, similarly, we have to separate this body and the mind complex from the real self that is pure consciousness within us. Because consciousness cannot be objectified. Now understand that why we use these metaphors. Consciousness cannot be objectified. If you can objectify, then there is no need of a metaphor. So those people who claim, show me where is the real self, I don't see. Can I do an experiment? Because it is not objectified, so how can you see it? It is not in the domain of the sense organs. Sense organs cannot perceive the real self. Can any sense organ see your thoughts? So when you say your mind is wandering, I will refuse to accept it. If your thoughts can be seen by any of the sense organs, so believe that also. So you see that the mind, our master, puts lot of reasoning in different layers of the mind to remove that ignorance. So remember, yadi deham prathakritya, the moment the body identification is dropped. The moment you drop that identification, the mind starts moving with it. Happens in the deep sleep, but then we are unconscious. So the no change takes place. We have been sleeping for years, every day. No change is taking place because it is an unconscious process. So it means the mindfulness and meditation is a conscious process of separating the body identification. There is another metaphor in another Upanishad, Amrit Bindu Upanishad. Do you see the cream in the milk? No, we don't see. But when we churn the milk, we can extract the milk. You see the another metaphor that helps us uh, to change the ways the mind works. The same way the mind needs to be churned again and again and again until that cream of the real self is realized. Another metaphor of the clay and the clay pot. I'm repeating again, clay and the clay pot. Pay attention and contemplate and reflect. Pick up the clay pot or a ceramic pot and find out where is the ceramic pot? Where is the clay pot? You look at it. Keep your mind focused and see that where is the clay pot. So when you see, is the clay pot on the top? No, it is clay. At the bottom, it is clay. On the side, it is clay. On the handle, it is clay. Where is the clay pot? There is no clay pot at all. But still it appears. It appears. So what appears true but is not true is false. So we have to remove that false that has been accumulated by the mind, if I say so. My master received a beautiful woman, and everyone started saying that she is so beautiful. My master interrupted all of us. All five elements. I only see five elements. I don't see the beautiful women. Because your mind is seeking something, that is why that appearance has become beautiful. So my master used to say that you look what is appearing in daily life, but inside you are aware. Anything, any name in the form, it is all five elements. You appreciate, you say, okay, you are Miss Universe. But still, the mind is focused naturally that this is nothing but the five elements. Now we can say Brandy is more beautiful than all of us, but still, we should continue to say, but at the same time, five elements. That awareness is required. Clay pot, awareness is required, it is all clay. My body, no, five elements. I will continue to say 5 elements, but internally I am aware. I have that level of awareness. So once we have that level of awareness, we are a seeker. We don't need to do the practice. Can there be a clay pot without clay? Can there be a wave without water? Answer is no. Can there be a web of the spider without the spider? Pick up all the metaphors. No. Can there be a body without the real self? No. So, body, this physical body and the mind depends on the real self. It does not have an independent existence. I'm summarizing the entire journey that we have undertaken for the last couple of months so that we can go deeper. You see that? The body and the mind has no independent existence. You think, you contemplate, you live into that awareness. The mindfulness is here and now. Mindfulness is here. There is another way to understand. Find out the cause. Do not stay at the effect. What is the effect of the clay? Clay pot. What is the effect of the water? Water waves. What is the effect of the real self? Body and the mind complex. Body and the mind keeps on changing, but the real self never changes. That is why even when I am 5 years old, I use the word I. 10 years old, I use the word I. Who is that I? Is that I is 10 years old? No. It is only the body. I'm referring to the body. But that I never changes. I keep on using until I die that I-ness. That I is the pure consciousness and the real self. Only in silence. When the mind stops its chattering, in that silence, we can see it, we can experience it. That behind those waves, behind the body and the mind complex, behind the appearance of the clay pot, it is all clay, it is all one water, it is one real self. And that is consciousness. That is. We may appear like a clay pot of different shapes and sizes and colors and understanding, but ultimately we all are one clay. And that clay here means pure consciousness. Understand another part that I have been talking. Yeah, I heard that, uh, one one guy whose friend has been listening to the teacher again and again for years. So why you go to the master? Does he teach anything? No, master doesn't teach anything. But then why you are going for years together? He has asked me while listening, I have to go behind the words to find out what is the reality. I have to go behind that language. I have to, knowledge has no words at all. Knowledge is pure awareness and consciousness. So he said that is what he has been saying me. So it means he doesn't teach anything? No, he doesn't teach anything. There is no teaching. Because teaching will condition your mind. Then you have a lot of thoughts. Think, think. So the more we move the mind. So why I use the first one verse from the Ashtavakra Gita, Yadi deham prathak kritya chiti vishramya tishthasi. So translation is that if I separate mentally in the field of my awareness, body from me, pay attention, body from me. So it means that body is an appearance, is not me, the body from me, that is consciousness, that allows the mind to rest within. Yadi deham prathak kratya chiti vishramya tishthasi. So chiti vishramya tishthati, chiti means the mind, that mind rests within. Then what happens? Adhunaiv sukhi shanta. Adhunaiv means here and now. What happens here and now? You realize peace and happiness. Sukhi shanta. And if you continue the journey to discover that, we are awakened. Adhunaiv sukhi shanta bandha mukto bhavishyasi. Because the mind is identified with the body. I told you the body is the servant of the mind. The mind has to translate all its desire, demands, craving, and obsession with the body. And the moment I identify with the body, the mind starts moving into the mind, moving into the world outside. That mind now starts searching peace and happiness, love and wisdom by the thoughts, by the desire, by the craving, by an effort outside. The more we go into the world, we forget what is nearest to me. That state of forgetfulness is known as ignorance. Don't take ignorance literally that, oh, I'm illiterate. No, it has nothing to do with illiteracy. Ignorance means the misunderstanding, the error of perception, error in perception. When I see you are different from me. How? What is the reference point? Reference point is the body. Reference point is the place. Reference point is the time. Time in terms of age. When I see you, what it means, I see your body. So when I see your body, my mind has already an error of perception because I claim you are the body, because I claim this is my body and that is your body. Can you tell me it is your body? It may be beautiful, anyhow. For example, if this is my body and that is not my body, how it is possible? I told you I'm summarizing in this session how it is possible. If this is my body and that is also my body, because it is the same, it is made up of the same material. If this is my body, it is made up of the material, your body also has the same material. So, how to resolve that conflict? And that is why we say there is a false self, there is a real self. So, again, our masters makes us understand there is a truth, there is an untruth, and there is something in between. There is something in between the truth and the untruth. there is something in between the truth. You see, the way the master helps us to understand. No, no, tell me, what is truth? Truth is permanent. It is pure consciousness. It does not change. It is all pervading. It is everywhere. What is untruth? Non existent. What do you mean by non existent? It doesn't exist. Many examples: elephant flying in the sky, non existent. I have two heads, non existent. So whatever is non existence is untruth. No, no, no. Then what is the false? False means it has something to do with the truth. It appears true, but still it is non existent. So, mixture of the truth and the untruth is what is known as the ignorance, is known as the mithya. We say the false self. The untruth is non-existent. I told you, elephant in the sky, something with nothing. So what is false? False contains the partial truth and the partial non-truth. You simply understand that. You live into that level of awareness. You are already there. You don't need to do anything. Did you understand? Partial, false is partial truth and partial non-truth. Take an example. I told you the wave appears. So does the wave has truth? No, it's a partial truth. Does wave exist? No, it does not exist, because every wave is nothing but the water. So everybody is nothing but the real self. We all are just, there's no, we all are. We are, fact is that we all are one. That is the real self. So I told you, false exists, contains both the partial truth and the partial non-truth. Non-truth means it does not exist. Now, what is the partial truth? That we appear as different. We appear as different. But the fact, how we appear as a different? So the mind plays tricks with us. You are male and I'm female, and then I have this age and you have. Mind starts cooking a story. Stop the mind to cook a story and see what happens. No, no, no. I am Stephen and you are, huh? You are, no, it's only a name. Name is not an individual. Name is a pointer. It's a matter of convenience. Are you getting it? Time is a matter of convenience. Brandy is a matter of convenience. And then the mind starts running outside. No, no, when you were born, how, that is why we are different. Really? You are born? Do you know that you are born? Ask yourself. How do you know that you are born? And how to know that someone is born? I can know when your body is born. But can I know myself? No. I have to exist much before my birth to know that I am born. People told me that I'm born. And then people said, you are born because your body is born. Go back again. 3, truth and untruth. And our master says there is another layer that is false. Untruth, non existent. Truth, always exists. And what is in between the two? It is the false. What is false? It is error in perception. It is error in my perception. You look at someone, so one is the perception, and then your mind starts cooking a story. You project your life with that person. It starts daydreaming, imagination. That is what the projection is. And that is what the error in projection, error in perception. The same error in perception when we look at the world outside. Last thing, that anything your mind claims it has a name and the form, name in the form, name in the shape, they are false. Why they are false? Because it is an effect. This body is an effect of five elements. What is the cause? If the consciousness is not there, can this shape exist without consciousness? No. So even if you go to the cause and find out what is the ultimate cause of this body to exist, you will land up to the consciousness. What is the cause of the mind to exist? It is consciousness. What is the cause of a thought? It is nothing but the consciousness. You cannot think without consciousness. You cannot breathe without consciousness. You cannot have the body without consciousness. That is the ultimate cause. The effects are nothing but the error in perception. And that error in perception is the projection, and that projection is false. Dream is also a projection, isn't it? But what happens, the last phrase is very important. The way we realize the dream is a projection, we do not realize, even in the waking state, living in the world, the entire world is a projection of that consciousness. Did I make it clear? That the way the dream world is a projection, we agree. Same way, this waking world in which we perceive. Only difference between the dream world and the waking. In the dream world, I see Terry, I meet Terry. So that I meet Terry for a few minutes. And in the waking world, I meet Terry for a little longer time with some physical entity. In dream, it is a mental entity. In waking state, it is a physical entity. That is the only difference. Are you seeing it? Do you see that? So when you see that, there is no division, there is no duality, there is no conflict, there is no projection. We are there. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed. Oh, I said eyes are closed. Eyes is a physical entity. The mind is aware of that physical entity. Very good. Very good. Can you see that? The bulb has no light, and the electric current has no light. But when they go together, we see the light. So when I say your eyes are close your eyes, same thing exactly. Eyes is purely a matter. So mind listens to it. Why the mind? How the mind listens? Because of consciousness behind the mind. So the consciousness borrowed by the mind becomes aware, has an information of the eyes, it looks at the eyes. So that metaphor fits here. Electric current, no light. Pure consciousness is not at all concerned whether your eyes are closed or not. It is independent. Electric current is independent. And then it contacts with the bulb. I'm comparing the consciousness through the mind, contacts the eyes. When I told you to close your eyes, so there is an awareness. What that awareness says, my eyes are closed. Is that awareness is dependent on the eyes? No. Dependent on the mind? No. What is this? Only a seeker can attain that state. Same way, look at the shoulder joints. When I say look, means awareness. So the way the light is independent of the bulb and the electric current, that awareness is independent. That awareness, what I said, you become aware of the shoulder joints. Awareness is independent of the shoulder joints in the mind. I'm using a wrong phrase for a right reason. Can you see it? That is a wrong phrase for a right reason. You look at the shoulder joints or be aware of the shoulder joints. And then I see experience, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Can you experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness in the absence of consciousness? No. But can I bring that sensation, comfort, and steadiness to be seen by any sense organ? No. But I still experience. So it's a subtler level. Sense organ can see what is physical. Mind can experience and see what is subtler, and still it cannot find the consciousness. That is why we are learning the Eastern wisdom. The entire body. Are you doing anything now? Are you listening to me? Yes. The listening produces a knowledge in your mind. My mind, the teacher's mind, and the seeker's mind, they go together. Oh, can that produce consciousness? No, consciousness is already there. The entire body, my friends. So you see that, how the mind has to work. Or awareness. You are aware of the entire body. Body is physical, it is material, it is made up of the five elements. Because I cannot be the matter, because I'm a conscious entity. And still you are asking me to look at the body, yes? Why? To move the mind to a subtler level, to experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. That is already there. I did not do anything. So there is a sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Who recognizes it? Consciousness or awareness? Oh, With that awareness that consciousness is independent of sensation, comfort, steadiness in the body, yes. No, but my thoughts are constantly disturbing me. It's not your thought. Thought belongs to the mind. Look at the thought. When I say look at the thought, you are aware of the thought. Any thought, good thought, bad thought, high thought, low thought. Thoughts are coming and thoughts are going. So, do you recognize the body is changing? Yes. Do you recognize the thoughts are coming and going? It means the thoughts are also changing. Now, ask a question and settle into the knowledge. Who recognizes that there is a change in the thoughts? There is a change in the body. There has to be some entity that does not change. Because if there is no entity who does not change, how it can recognize what is changing? So what is that entity? Behind that thought, it is awareness, it is consciousness. With identification, it appears as if the consciousness is changing. I'm conscious of one thought, I'm conscious of the second thought. So my mind projects, oh, no, 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 I am changing. No, I'm not changing. I'm changeless. Any change that you recognize and realize, there has to be an entity, non-changing entity that realizes the changes taking place in the body, in the breath, in the mind, in the emotions. So many changes, one that never changed. So when the mind identifies with the body, what that identification does, one example, I am the body. First identification, then the mind declares I am the body. Then the same mind recognizes the body is changing. Very good. Oh, body is changing, then I'm changing. But then the same mind looks at the world, my forefathers have left me, which the mind recognizes as a death. So I will also die. So I have a fear of the death. Why I have a fear of death? I have not accomplished what I should have been. My incomplete desires. I have not become Elon Musk. Do you see? So, what happens when we contemplate and reflect? We go to the ultimate cause. We recognize, oh, this is the play of the mind in ignorance. So, when I watch this movie of the body, mind, identification, mind moves into a deeper layer of ignorance. I am the body. Then the same mind watches that this body has to be left after some time. So there is a fear of death. Because of the fear, there are sense of anxiety, reaction, duality, and a conflict. Oh, now look at the opposite. I'm not the body. Body is a servant of the mind. Mind cannot translate its desires without the body. So I witness. So our masters uses the word witness consciousness. Witness consciousness neither goes to attachment nor to detachment, neither to the victory nor to the defeat, nor to the pain, to the pleasure. It witnesses, it is aware. It perceives they are separate from me. So, where the separation takes place in your mind, in the field of awareness, you cannot do it physically. I've been telling you. Are you forcibly they cannot be together because of the false notion, because of the ignorance we feel they are together. Iron ball, you put the iron ball into the fire. After some time, we see the red hot iron ball. No, but iron ball is not red hot. No, it has borrowed some properties of the fire. Okay. So when the body borrows some property of the consciousness, then we recognize by my body is moving, I can move the body, I can move my eyes and the different parts of the body. It appears as if the body is a conscious entity. Iron ball is a red hot entity. Do you see that? I'm using all metaphors possible. Otherwise, you mean to say that body is unconscious matter? 100%. The mind creates a false notion that I will die maybe after 10 years. No, body is already dead matter. So when the mind lives into that awareness, a transformation takes place. Well, so should I say in my mind that body is already a dead matter? Whether you say it or not, it is already dead matter. It's a matter. Matter is inert. Then our master says that anything inert cannot know itself, cannot know others. Like the mouse, the monitor. Oh, yes. So anything inert or matter cannot know itself and cannot know others. But I know myself, I can know myself and I can know others. What is the matter? I'm not the body. Awareness, I am not the body, is separating yourself from the body. Everything is happening as it is. Body is happening, mind is happening, thoughts are coming and going. But separation is there. What do we recognize in that separation? The consciousness that never changes. It is a witness consciousness. And the presence of changes taking place in the body, mind, thoughts, feeling. In that stage, it is easy become aware of the body, physical body, recognize inert. And now reflect on, like the clay pot, like the waves, that wave, that clay pot is false. Fundamentally, it is. So when you are aware of the body, can you be aware? It's all five elements, nothing more than that. Nothing less, nothing more. Exploring, discovery, awareness. There are many words we use: realize, recognize, recognition. Just a matter of understanding. It's all our cognitive ability, lives in the intellect, drops the wrong notion. When the time comes, it doesn't make any difference whether your body is steady or not, whether you're doing any activity, because whatever the activities are being done by the body, breath, mind, intellect, ego, and the thoughts, and we are none of them. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both your palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside. Know your experiences and bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. How are you, Stephen?
Good. That was very interesting. As soon as I closed my eyes, um, well, first I always like your metaphors, so thank you for that. But in this meditation, when I closed my eyes, um, it was as if I was in a split space. Um, from a physical perspective, it felt like everything was up here, and my awareness was in the back of everything, and your words or the sounds that took place was in front of me. So I was just an observer in all of this.
Yeah.
And when you said, um, put your attention on the shoulder joints, there was part of me that says, no, we're not doing that. We're staying back here. I hear what he's saying, but we're staying back here. And then the only other thing that I heard through the thing to understand was wanting to be Elon Musk. And I went, no, I don't want to do that. And and then you started chanting. So I was just at a really quiet, peaceful, happy space.
Wonderful, wonderful. You see that why we are trying to understand these metaphor and continuing the journey, because if we don't do it, mind, which is full of ignorance, identifying with the body, with the millions of the thoughts, when it suddenly moves within and leaves everything, it may result into another set of hallucinations, which sometimes people claim as if it is a real self. So that is why I'm continuing the journey in a very slow and with a better footing, so that we remain as an observer only. Observer minus all the daydream. Otherwise, the mind colors. Mind says, oh, I saw it. This God and that God. I'm not naming any God, otherwise people will, religious people will fire me. So how are you, Terry?
I wanted to know when you did the dream metaphor.
Yeah.
You have a dream when you're asleep,
Yeah.
When you're awake, it's like a dream.
Yeah.
So, whose dream is the world?
Who is dreaming the world in a dream state? It is the dreamer. And dreamer is the mind, the virtual. In the waking state, it is also a dream, but that mind, along with the memory and the intellect and the I-ness, they all together live in the waking world. And when the mind is appears do not exist in a sleep state, there is no dream. Then
So,
then who is the observer? The real self is the one who is the observer of a waking state, different from the waker, dreaming state, different from the dreamer, of the sleeping state, different from the sleeper, is my real self.
hmm,
How are you, Brandy?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. During my meditation today, I was reflecting on um, how nice the freedom is
Yeah,
in the completeness. You know, how the freedom and the completeness from the mind and the body. You know, and I don't know if that is like getting me closer to the real self, but it is a really well, I don't have any better word than free experience to be like, you know, like anything beyond this lived body and mind is the completion of that is, you know, and I know that's so simple and I know it's just summarizing what you say all the time, but I really experienced the freedom of that today. It was nice.
beautiful, beautiful. You see that there is only one teacher who talks the same thing to everyone, but our mind perceives them differently. So there are three sets of experiences, and then comes, the sense of freedom. Yes, you rightly said that once we drop the identification with the body and the mind, something deeper inside, we feel the sense of completeness and the freedom. That is wonderful. How are you, Vaibhav?
That was deep, uh, relaxed, calm, was mostly quiet.
Mostly quite good. Understand one thing more, something pops up in my mind. Quietness is not that you do not hear any sound, you do not have any sound in terms of the decibel outside. That quietness and that silence and that peace is within you that cannot be disturbed by any thought, feeling, and the sound. It's totally a different state of the quietness. When we talk of the quietness, in modern science, we say, oh, there are a lot of disturbances and the sound is there. Even with lot of cracking sound, you can be quiet. How are you, Sam?
I'm good. The metaphors were very helpful, and the meditation was peaceful and quiet.
Peaceful and guide. Use that metaphor during the day. When to use, when you see anyone and everyone, whenever we find the mind is confused and the mind is moving towards anxiety, reaction to it, start using the metaphor. Is the clay pot in stress? Is the wave is in stress? But the wave is nothing but the water. So we plant a wrong notion, and that causes lot of challenges. Very good. How are you, Anesthesia? You have you have sent me a good email. I'm not going to repeat it, but keep on. Continue. That's wonderful.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be back. And thank you for lesson and the practice. My body was totally frozen and very light. I got a reflection during this practice about that body. Really, I feel my body, but my body doesn't feel me. We have this words like I feel it in my bones. Actually, I can really feel my bones if I concentrate my attention on this. And I have noticed that we say that I have headache, stomach ache, and then we don't feel actually stomach or head or mind forgets about stomach, but remembers it is pretty concentrated on ache and becomes this ache or this pleasure. Like I can feel pleasure if I pat my hand, but I don't actually maybe realize that it's my hand or my forehead. It's just pleasure or just pain. So it goes mutual with feeling. Like when I am in a fear, so it means I become this fear. And yeah.
That's a wonderful way. Everyone shares your experiences differently. So you picked up, your mind has picked up, which I would explain what my master used to say, that you see a donkey. We used to say as donkey in India, and we say that. So you see donkey, yes. I know donkey, yes. I'm different from donkey. So whatever I see and know and realize through the mind is not me. Now apply the same. Do I know the body? Yes, I'm not the body. Do I know the breath? No, yes, I'm not the breath. Do I know that the thoughts are coming to my mind? Yes, I'm none of these thoughts. I'm not the mind. So you instantly become an observer. That is one. And second is, body is inert. It cannot know itself. It cannot know others. I would say even if you think like this, while thinking, thought is a product of knowledge. So through those, thinking means contemplation and reflection, and ultimately we move to the awareness and a consciousness. That is all for today. Thank you. Thank you for tolerating me and attending the session. We'll meet again on Monday.